So hello everyone. So I'm gonna go ahead now. Speak a lesson on South and Central Asia, and also on some population geographic terms, which will help you answer both questions 1 and 2 for your assignment. Make sure that you downloaded exam number 4 study guide. Okay, I will. Questions, of course, will follow the order of the PowerPoints, just like for previous exams. Okay. So it's really up to you if you want to print it out or if you want to have a soft copy. So again, that's really just up to you, okay? So where is South and Central Asia, okay? So oftentimes the countries of Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, and Sri Lanka belong to what's called the Indian subcontinent. Of course, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and these other countries used to be part of India until the partition there in 1947. Central Asia used to belong to the Soviet Union until it split apart there in 1991. This is a very rural area. Nomads dominating. Again, not a very urbanized area. And again, here are the countries again here within South Asia. Now, this shows you the different regions. Okay, you don't have to worry about it. But I do want to show you, again, these are the countries here of Central Asia. Okay, and don't worry about Afghanistan, because again, that's a transition zone. So let's go over a couple terms here. Okay, population geography, demographics, census, arithmetic density, physiological density. Population geography is simply a sub-branch of the subject that looks at, where do people live? Okay, like where do people live? What are statistics of people? What is used to measure why people live there? So it really goes more in depth of, just where humans live now, the interact with the Earth's surface, but like why do they live? And also different theories of why they live there, okay? And demographics study statistics of the human population. So for instance, like what is the average age? What's the average income? What is the race and ethnicity of an area? Okay, so that's what demographics look at. Census is a government, is the government, collecting information on the population of a specific country. So a census is the government collecting specific information of the population for that country. Arithmetic density is just like regular density. It looks at the number of people per unit area. Okay? And physiological density, that actually looks at, the number of people per unit of arable land. Okay? You're probably thinking, what does this mean? Well, I'll give you an example. If you look at countries like Egypt, arable, farmable land, livable land. So that's what arable land means, farmable and livable. Egypt has a very high physiological density. Why? Because there is not that many people, that can reside within, area that are livable. So in Egypt, there's not that many areas that are livable when compared to, say, other countries like the United Kingdom. The only area livable in Egypt is the Nile River and the Delta. So again, that is why that would be an example there of having high physiological density. Only areas there that are livable. Now, very simple terms here. Overpopulation means you have too many people and not enough resources to go around. Underpopulation means is that you don't have enough people living in an area in order to improve the quality of life. So it means that you have the resources there, but you don't have enough people there to improve the quality of life. So that's what underpopulation means. Optimum population, means you have the right amount of people in an area. And then carry capacity means what's the maximum allotted people there before, the maximum allotted people there before you go over capacity. So a good example would be, let's say you're at a bar it says carrying capacity is 100 people. That means if you were to go over that, you would be overcapacitated, and you won't be able to, help everybody within that establishment. Okay? So again, that is what carrying capacity means. Okay, so for question number 1, okay, you're going to answer 2 problems associated with overpopulation, okay? I want you to really think about this, okay? Like, what would occur with resources, government services, presence of jobs? If you have too many people, can you fill jobs? Use of infrastructure like roads, railroads, etc., okay? So definitely think about that. And then I want you to create a solution associated with overpopulation. So what would be a realistic solution to curb overpopulation? Now, you cannot use the one-child policy of China. Okay, and the reason is because, now there's a lot of researchers saying that, the long-term consequences are starting to be felt there. So that's why you cannot use that, okay? So think of a realistic solution. If you want to look up one online, that's fine, but make sure, of course, that you cite it. And pause the video here. Go ahead and answer question 1. Okay, welcome back, everyone. So we went over overpopulation, and we talked about, what are ways to solve it, okay? I want to bring up somebody that theorized that the population outgrew the availability of food. This was Thomas Malthus. What he said was that there need to be checks in the population, because if the population continued to grow, that eventually the world would run out of food. This is what he assumed. He assumed that the population continued to increase, food supplies would run out, so people would die. Okay? He said there has to be positive and preventative checks. So what do I mean? Positive checks to him. Now I'm saying that's not positive it happens, but this is what he's theorizing. He's saying positive checks would be war, because people would die, so that would decrease the population. Famine. He also would say diseases, pandemics, like outbreaks of cholera that occurred back then, would be good because they right there keep the population in check. He also said preventative checks, like people using birth control, not to bear as many children. He would also say, people need to bear having children at a later age. He would also say, just not having children at all. That'd be a preventative check. Now here's the question though. Did Thomas Malthus' theory come about? No, it did not. He was very premature in his theory because of the Industrial Revolution. You have to remember, when he came out of this theory, the Industrial Revolution was just starting to take off in the United Kingdom at that time, particularly in Scotland, okay, and spread throughout England and Wales. He was very premature. Now, we can't say that he's just 100% wrong and forget about it. Remember, I told you guys about that beforehand with theories. Well, we still have to recognize where was he coming from, okay? So when he theorized it, he didn't foresee that the quality of life was going to improve. He didn't foresee a rampant middle class. He didn't foresee that, as a country industrializes, people tend to have fewer kids, okay? Because when you looked at the United Kingdom back then, the average couple was having 6 children. Now in the United Kingdom, it's barely 1. Okay, and they're a post-industrial society. So he didn't foresee that either. And he didn't foresee that there would be greater output of food with technological advances. Because if you look at this right here, this is from India, you can clearly see that the wheat and the rice population are way beyond the population itself. You probably hear a lot of pundits saying, well, there's not enough food to go around. People are starving. There are people starving. However, the problem is that people can't afford food. There's plenty of food to feed 7 billion people right now in the world. The problem is people are in poverty, they're dirt poor, and they can't afford food, okay? There's plenty of food to feed the entire world's population. The problem is people are poor and they can't afford it, okay? I want to explain the demographic transition model because this is going to go into question 2, okay? So make sure that you do, if you have to rewind the video and hear it again, that's fine. So stage 1, okay? Stage 1 of demographic transition model. I wanted to say every demographic transition model has 5 stages. The demographic transition model measures not only population growth in the country, but the birth and death rates, and also too, the economic rates. Are they a pre-industrial country, beginning industrial, peak industrial, or post-industrial? Okay? And I'll explain each of them here. Stage 1. This is a pre-industrial country. It means that there are no factories at all present. All of the population works in agriculture. I want to say this right now, though. No country in our globalized world is in stage 1. There might be some islands, like there is these ones off of India where they still haven't discovered fire. Those are the huge exceptions. But when you look at the world as a whole, or countries that belong to the United Nations, none are in stage 1. Okay? Stage 2. Beginning industrialization. Okay? Death rates start to decrease. Quality of life is improving. Birth rates are still high. Okay? So birth rates are still high. Death rates are decreasing. Because the quality of life is improving. People are moving to the middle class. Higher wages. Affordable housing. Okay? So stage 2 is beginning industrialization. Stage 3. Peak industrialization. What does that mean? Well, most people are employed in manufacturing. Okay? This would have been the United States in the 50s. Okay? 1950s, so from about, end of World War II till about 1960. You have a low death rate because there's access to medical care, medical advances, people are doing well, etc. Birth rate starts to decrease. Okay? Birth rates start to go down. As a country industrializes, birth rates go down. Because the quality of life is going up, women decide to delay or not have children. Okay? And of course, more and more enter the workforce. So that's why your death rate goes down. Stage 4. Post-industrial society. Like we are here now. Or Japan. Or most of Europe. Canada. Okay? You can also throw in Argentina. You have low birth rates, low death rates. People are having not as many children. But not only that, you also have low death rates because more people die because of old age, okay? A newer stage is stage number 5, okay? Sorry about the cat there. Stage number 5, what this is that, as the country ages, your death rate starts to actually increase because you have a very old population. Okay? Japan is currently in stage 5 right now. Some countries in Europe, like Austria and Italy, are in stage 5 because you have more people dying than being born. That's just because you have an older population. Okay? Japan, of course, is facing a population crisis right now, as I said before. Okay? So that means they are not having children, and more people are dying because of old age. So for question 2, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to answer these questions. you're going to answer, okay, which stage the United States is in. I just gave it to you. Which stage Japan is in. Which stage is Ghana in? Of course, Ghana is sub-Saharan Africa. As you're answering it, okay, I want you to look at the birth and death rate of the countries. Is it high or low? I also want you to look at the economic. Are they peak industrial? Are they beginning industrialization or post-industrial? Remember, no country is stage 1 where they're not industrial. So go ahead now, pause it, and then answer these questions. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. So what we're going to do now is we, of course, are going to do the population pyramids, okay? A population pyramid, I'll go ahead and show it to you, looks at a country's male to female ratio and also the age cohorts. So again, looks at the male to female ratio and the age cohorts, okay? And there are different, stages here. Old dependents means people are 65 and over, so the average age of retirement. Young dependents are ones that can't work yet, so it'd be 0 to 14. And then labor force is people aged 15 to 64, okay? Age 15 to 64 meaning that you can be in the labor force, okay? Now, if you notice here, there are different shapes here. Usually population pyramids are in percents, okay? They're not necessarily always in total counts because that would, again, just take up too much, okay? So let me go ahead and show you this one. This right here shows rapid growth. If a population pyramid looks almost like a traditional pyramid, like what you see in Giza in Egypt, it would look like this, okay? It would look almost like a population. A population decline looks like this. You have a bulge here in the middle, very few at the bottom. So this would represent population decline. So you have a bulge there in the middle. And then one that's more of like a steady growth, like here in the United States, you pretty much have an evening here throughout the lower age and also the middle age. And it starts to decrease a little bit as you get up there, okay? What I want you to know about population pyramids is that it shows the male to female ratio of a country or an area. It doesn't always have to be a country. And it shows the age cohorts usually in 4s. And they're usually by percents, okay? So next video, we'll go ahead and we'll start with Central Asia and South Asia itself, okay? So make sure you do answer questions 1 and 2.